Do you think I'm insane when I say I believe I've lived other lives? Back in the days of the Holy Roman Empire, as the Emperor Vespasius. And together with my bride, Sleaze Baggies, we had an idyllic lifestyle. I was emperor of all that I surveyed. And I remember one time sitting there at my board meeting. Gildonius looked at me and said, "Are you ready to begin your flatulence?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Pud Pompeius, read the minutes of the last meeting if you would please." And Pud Pompeius stood up and said, "Well, Sperticles has told us that our external security could use some work. However, Douchebaggius, who's in charge of the social program, has let us know that Syphiliticus is getting a little out of hand in the baths, and that she and Fallacia have gotten together and they're going to go on strike as a protest unless we get warmer bath water, cleaner towels." I said, "Well, let me tell you something. You tell Fallacia and Syphiliticus that we'll get vaginitis, menstruation, ovulata in there to replace them, because they ain't going on strike. We don't have any unions here in the castle. What do they think?" Just then Blue Ballius came running in and said, Sire, the Visigoth hordes are at the gate. We are being besieged by Attila well hung." I said, "My God. Ejaculus, Orgasmocles, you call Prostadius and Hemorrhoidocles, and you ready our soldiers for battle." He said, "As you'd like it, sire." I said, "Spermius, you come here. We have plan B if all doesn't work. Here's what I want you to do. You call Ejaculus." You see, plan B was kind of sick. I knew that my men could never stand up to Attila well hung, especially since he was accompanied by Genghis Khan. I knew that Blue Ballius would be no match. I knew that Numbnutius would fall on his sword rather than face those kind of odds. I know full well that Schmegmacles would turn their stomachs, but that's all he could do. I knew that Squarasius would be an inept fighter and shoot himself with his own bow. I knew the only men I could count on were Sperticles, Testicules, and my own son, Volscinius. But the news was as I expected. Snotocles came running in and said, Sire, we're losing horribly. I just watched the death of Suppositorium. It happened right before my eyes." I said, "All right, it's time for plan B. Ready the catapult." They said, "But your incontinence, we're out of stones." I said, "We're not going to throw stones. It's time for the wenches in the baths to make the ultimate sacrifice. We shall distract Genghis Khan and Attila well hung." I said, "Endometria, come here, darling, climb in the catapult. You must go on your rendezvous with destiny. Distract them. Hobble them to death if you can." And so, we launched her from the castle roof into the enemy camp. I said, "Line up, all of you." Oh, God, Puntangia, I hate to do this to you. Dictesia, I'll miss you. Clitoria, the times were sweet. Vaginitis, all of you, get in. Goodbye, my loves, my pretties. But still, they marched relentlessly. I said, "These men are insatiable. I've sent my best wenches." I turned to my wife. "Sleaze Baggius, we have been together a long time." She said, "You can't be serious. I'm your wife." I said, "It's for the kingdom. The kingdom must live forever." She said, "I've never heard of it." I said, "Sleaze Baggius, get the catapult. Get in. Look, I love you too, right? Okay, bye-bye." And I launched her into the enemy camp. Imagine my shock and horror when no sooner had she gotten there, here she comes back the other way. There she was, lying there with a note from Genghis Khan that says, "Keep her, and we'll surrender unconditionally." Oh, no!